not so much the NFL draft in full. We know it's past and it's way too many players to try to talk about, but obviously one of the more polarizing players of the draft and one of the obviously biggest controversies of the draft is quarterback Shedeur Sanders falling to not just out of the first round, but to the fifth. Was it? It's
Yep,
fifth, right?
round.
Yeah. So thoughts on reasons why? I mean, we heard all the talk about the suspicion that he was going to fall and, teams kind of being, weary of him or put off by him for whatever reason. And I mean, there's been speculation around the reasons and what they could be related to. But yeah, thoughts on why a quarterback that clearly, has, talent, right? And clearly was to me the second to a lot of people, the second best quarterback in the draft. How does a quarterback like that fall to fifth round?
Um, I think it's a combination of chatter with who he is as a player, what he represents, what his dad represents. I think his dad is maybe the most important piece of this. Um, NFL history and negligence. Did I say negligence already? Is that twice I
No,
said that?
no,
Okay,
no.
so to start with, I list a lot of things, but to start with who he is as a player. Uh, Granted, some players are able to move around with that energy and not get as much criticism a la Manziel, but he walked into Saban territory and got a win. So I think that's different. Um, I think NFL history, to touch on that point. And yeah, like sometimes like that attitude can be unsavory for NFL coaches and want someone's going to fall in line, it's going to work hard. It's not typical of the NFL to reward players that are for themselves and very individualistic the way it seems like Shedeur is. NFL history, throughout NFL history, a lot of QBs that were supposed to be top picks have slid. Lamar went past every NFL team before he got drafted, and that's a Heisman winner. Aaron Rodgers slid to the end of the first round to the Packers. Tom Brady went undrafted. Um, you can go what? I don't know. It wasn't Elway. It was it Elway? A lot of QBs throughout NFL history have slid down the draft board. Throw the dude from San Francisco in there.
Purdy?
Purdy slipped in the draft a little bit. Like a lot of QBs have done so. Um, so the NFL history plays a part in it, where teams are just finicky about an NFL quarterback. Um, his dad plays a huge part because of how outspoken he is and how uh, confident he is, and that is not typically something that teams like. I mean, I think we saw that when LeVar Ball was talking about his sons, where people had a lot of pushback about how good he was saying his son was going to be. Granted, LeVar is not Deion Sanders, but that outspokenness, teams don't take kindly to it. He didn't beat a ranked team in his NFL career. Sorry, in his NCAA career, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that
That
stat,
is
but huh?
Shedeur?
Shedeur, yeah. Where it's just like he never really beat comp while he was there. He did have the highest completion percentage. He did have, great stats, but, was he beating the teams that he was supposed to when it got to those like ranked games? And negligence because, granted, like you said, I like Milroe. Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback. They're not Shedeur. And also, what's his name? That the Saints drafted. Tyler Show. I negligence at that point. Uh, Say it out loud. Say it out loud why you don't want Shedeur, because that some of those just don't make sense at that
Yeah.
point. Um, so yeah, I think it's a combination. I don't think it's necessarily any one thing. I think just the magnitude of player he was, how boisterous, he was with the chains and the watches, and I think that there's just some things culturally that people don't like. I mean, historically, there's never been a great want for black QBs. They're trying to make Lamar a running back. Let's be real. Let's put it on wax about all that. Charlie Ward was a Heisman Award winning quarterback. And guess what sport he played? Basketball, because they didn't want to draft a black quarterback. Granted, it's not the 90s, but these owners have been there for a long time. Some mindsets don't change as much. So I think, all of it plays a part in the piece of the pie that is Shedeur sliding to the fifth. Drop those comments below. What do you feel?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this I do think that there was an aspect of this where the NFL was trying to teach him a lesson, right? I think it has been I think that's been talked about, and I think it is just clear, not only for the NFL, but in general in society, a confident, black man who is aware of his capabilities, who is confident in himself. I don't think Shedeur is cocky. I think he is very much his father's son, right? But I think within what a lot of people view as cockiness is somebody just knowing their worth, right? Even to your point about not beating comp, in college. But I think Shedeur has always made a program a winning program. And I don't think you should take that, away from him either, whether that was Jackson State, whether that was Colorado. And I think at the end of the day, kind of to your point about Tyler Show, right? Like, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. Apologies. I should know that name. But nonetheless, to your point of negligence, it's like you can't argue me that any of these quarterbacks, are better than Sanders. I mean, if you want to get into the weeds about Shedeur and Cam Ward, sure, right? Like tomato, for real, if you think about it. But everybody else, I think, is levels under both of them, respectfully. I was about to say respectably. That's not. Bear with me. Anyway, point is, but to your point, right? Like other quarterbacks have failed. We've seen quarterbacks that are drafted in later rounds or that slide in general, and that still go. I mean, Mahomes is, a famous, example of that, right? So I don't think anybody doubts that Shedeur can have a really good NFL career. But I think this experience was definitely them. I think they were trying to break him to a degree. But I think what he also gets from his father is I don't think you're going to break Shedeur's spirit, right? I think you're only going to motivate him. So whether it's in this crowded Cleveland Browns QB room that is crazy in and of itself, or if it's him getting an opportunity somewhere else down the line, I think we are going to see Shedeur playing big time football in the NFL.
One other reason, he runs like Eli Manning. That is also it.
Shedeur,
only other NFL combine real thing that you could say that he doesn't do well. He doesn't run like that. So,
I mean, the majority of quarterbacks don't necessarily run like that. I mean, running like Manning is crazy, but
and the ones that do, they try and slide to running back, and they're 2-time MVPs in the NFL. So,
right,
and they also have the highest QBR in this latest season. But so be it.
Right.